Live from New Delhi, you watching DD India, India's voice to the world. I'm Tanvi Taneja. This is Express News, where we bring you top 100 news of the day. Let's begin. India hosted the first Asian Buddhist Summit. President Draupadi Murmu inaugurated the summit in New Delhi, said India is blessed land of Dharma. India's president also released a special logo of the Asian Buddhist Summit. A special exhibition on the theme India as the Dhamma Setu, or the bridge connecting Asia, was also organized at the summit. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar attended the inaugural session of Raisina Down Under. Addressing the event, Jaishankar highlighted the India-Australia relations in defence cooperation. Jaishankar also attended the 15th India-Australia Foreign Ministers Framework Dialogue with his counterpart Penny Wong in Canberra. On China, Minister Jaishankar said that the two sides have made some progress in disengagement, terming it a welcome move which opens up the possibility for dealing with other challenges. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar expressed concern over attack on Hindu temple in Ontario, said that it was unacceptable that Indian diplomats had been placed under surveillance by Canada. International Solar Alliance, in collaboration with the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, hosted the third high-level conference on new technologies for clean energy transition in New Delhi. The third edition of the World Solar Report series was also launched. The report series provides a concise and comprehensive overview of global progress in solar technology. The inaugural also witnessed the release of the Readiness Assessment of Green Hydrogen African Countries report by ISA and Denmark. India's Minister of New and Renewable Energy said that increased demand for solar panels boosted local manufacturing. He added that new technologies are significantly enhancing the efficiency of solar panels. India's Minister for Petroleum, Hardeep Singh Puri, said that for a large energy consumer like India, there is no shortage of crude oil, as new producers are coming into the market and many are expanding their output. India's Minister of State for External Affairs, Kirti Vardhan Singh, attended the India-Zambia Business Roundtable. The minister also addressed the business leaders from both sides. India's Minister for Ports, Shipping and Waterways, Sarbanand Sonowal, attended the Maritime Conclave in Chennai as a special guest. Minister Sonowal announced that India's port handling capacity has doubled over the last decade. Highlighting recent initiatives such as the Global Maritime India Summit and the India-Middle East-Europe Economic Corridor, he outlined the government's focus on furthering growth in the maritime sector. The third edition of Indian Space Conclave began in New Delhi. Addressing the event, Union Minister Jitendra Singh said that ISRO will launch a satellite of the European Space Centre in December. Secretary of Information and Broadcasting held a meeting with industry representatives of production houses, studios, AVGC, stakeholders and academic leaders on the upcoming event of IFFI Waves. The President of India has approved the proposal for summoning of both the Houses of Parliament for the winter session from 25th November to 20th of December. The Supreme Court of India upheld constitutional validity of Uttar Pradesh Board of Madrasa Education Act 2024. It quashed the Allahabad High Court's March 2022 verdict, which had struck down the UP Madrasa Act. In Jammu and Kashmir, police along with CRPF apprehended one terrorist during a cordon and search operation in Handwara. Police recovered one pistol along with 7 live rounds. Joint Committee of Parliament on Waqf Amendment Bill, chaired by Chairman Jagdambika Pal, held a meet. The chairman will visit Karnataka on Thursday to meet farmers protesting against notices. On to business news. The Indian benchmark BSE Sensex jumped 694 points to settle at 79,476 today. Nifty surged 218 points to end at 24,213. At the Forex market, rupee settled flat at 84 rupees 11 paise against the US dollar. Gold futures maturing on 5th December stood at 78,346 rupees per 10 grams on the multi-commodity exchange. Silver futures maturing on December 5th stood at 94,451 rupees per kilo at the MCX. The US dollar softened on Tuesday as traders squared positions on the day of the US presidential election after recent polls dented some market bets on a victory for Republican Donald Trump. Asian markets mostly rose on Tuesday, a day before results from the US presidential election, with major benchmarks gaining over 1%. Oil prices traded in a narrow range on Tuesday after rising more than 2% in the previous session as OPEC Plus delayed plans to hike production in December. Boeing workers in the United States accepted the aircraft manufacturer's latest contract offer, ending a 7-week strike that crippled production of the 737 MAX and 777. South Korea has fined Facebook parent Meta more than $15 million for illegally collecting sensitive user information from nearly 1 million people without consent and sharing it with advertisers. In the United States, Election Day, polling stations opened on Tuesday, kicking off the final opportunity for Americans to vote in a tightly contested presidential race. More than 82 million people have already taken advantage of early voting to cast their ballots for Republican Donald Trump or Democrat Kamala Harris. Harris and Trump are effectively tied in the 7 main swing states for their race to decide the 47th President of the United States of America. Qataris went to the polls on Tuesday in a referendum on ending a brief and limited experiment with legislative elections. In 2021, the Gulf state organized its first elections for 30 of 45 seats in the Shura Council. Russia on Tuesday denounced Moldova's weekend election as unfair and said it did not see the winner, Maia Sandu, as the legitimate president of the country. A Russian strike on an infrastructure facility in the Ukrainian city of Zaporozhye near the front line has killed 6 people and injured 9. Foreign ministers from the G7 said on Tuesday that they were gravely concerned by the deployment of North Korean troops to Russia and the possibility they may be used in the conflict against Ukraine. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov declined to comment on reports that North Korean troops were in Russia and were preparing for a deployment in the Ukrainian conflict. Lebanon has received 19 tons of humanitarian aid from Russia. Supplies include shipment for the health sector and consists of 20 tons of medicines and medical supplies. The UK Parliament will debate on the world's first smoke-free generation bill. The bill will prevent anyone born after January 1st, 2009 from legally smoking. 2 Chinese nationals were shot at and injured on Tuesday by a security guard who opened fire at a garment factory in Pakistan's commercial hub, Karachi. North Korea fired multiple ballistic missiles towards sea east of the Korean peninsula. The launch came hours after US and South Korea defense chiefs called on Pyongyang to withdraw its troops. South Korea's military warned on Tuesday that North Korea raised tensions in the Korean peninsula by launching ballistic missiles and that the North will take responsibility for all the consequences. The United States has approved the potential sale of airborne early warning and control systems to its ally South Korea, which is a part of $5 billion military package. Russia launched 55 satellites into orbit on Tuesday, including 2 privately built Iranian devices, satellites designed to monitor the space weather around Earth. Britain's Prince William met South African President Cyril Ramaphosa in Cape Town ahead of the annual Earthshot Awards ceremony. He also took nature trails to promote conservation. A Moscow court on Tuesday upheld a 12-and-a-half-year prison sentence for a US-Russian man convicted earlier this year on drug charges. The UK has detected 2 more cases of the new Mpox variant clade IB in the household contacts of the first case, bringing the total number of confirmed cases to 3. Serbia's construction minister resigned after 14 people were crushed to death last week by a falling canopy at a railway station that was rebuilt by European and Chinese firms 2 years ago. French and Dutch authorities raided streaming giant Netflix offices in Paris and Amsterdam on Tuesday as part of a tax fraud probe. Netflix is also under investigation in France for its tax filings for 2019, 2020 and 2021. We'll be back after a short break. Stay tuned for more news on Express.
Who will be the next president of the US? America decides. DD India reports from Ground Zero. Watch live and exclusive coverage on DD India.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back. Let's resume. Tropical storm Rafael, the 18th named storm of the Atlantic hurricane season, formed on Monday as a tropical depression strengthened over the Caribbean. Rafael is expected to intensify into a hurricane before entering the Gulf of Mexico, where conditions will trend less conducive for the system to hold that intensity later this week. The aftermath of the devastating floods in Valencia has led to a swift and coordinated response by Spanish authorities. Spain has earmarked $11.5 billion in loans, grants to flood victims. Hundreds of military emergency workers are searching shopping centres, garages and underground car parks to find out more victims of floods in the Valencia region that have killed at least 218 people. Heavy rainfall and flash flooding hit Bolivia's southern Tarija, submerging streets and affecting at least 14 neighborhoods. In response to the flash floods in Bolivia, the city hall has opened shelters for those displaced by the floods. Local families are now urging authorities to declare the area a disaster zone. The Philippines ordered evacuation, stockpiled food and put soldiers on standby in preparation for Typhoon Yinxing as the storm barrels towards northeastern towns where it could make landfall this week. Thousands of people from Indonesia's popular tourist island of Flores have been evacuated after Mount Lewatobi Laki-Laki erupted, killing at least 10 people. Lahore, Pakistan's second largest city, woke up to a thick blanket of toxic smog on Tuesday, pushing air quality to hazardous levels and worsening health concerns for its residents. India's capital, Delhi, its air quality remained in the very poor category for the 7th consecutive day on Tuesday. Michael Jordan's game-worn red jersey from the 1996 to 1997 basketball championship season with the Chicago Bulls was sold for $4.68 million at Sotheby's in New York on Monday. Tidal Wave Comics has added Kamala Harris and Tim Walz to its Political Power series. The comics titled Political Power Kamala Harris Road to the White House and Political Power Tim Walz were released in digital and print formats in hardcover and paperback editions. Irishman David Keohane, also known as Indiana Stones, is reviving the ancient tradition of stone lifting. The Irish tradition was carried out as part of funeral games and other rites of passage, as well as a form of entertainment. The world's first wooden satellite, built by Japanese researchers, was launched into space on Tuesday in an early test of using timber in lunar and Mars exploration. Satellite Lignosat, a collaborative project between Kyoto University and Sumitomo Forestry, travelled to the International Space Station via SpaceX and will be positioned in orbit approximately 400 kilometers above Earth. The 136th China Import and Export Fair, or the Canton Fair, wrapped up on Monday in Guangzhou in southern China. The three-phase event focused on advanced manufacturing, quality home goods and lifestyle products. Tens of thousands of migratory birds are flocking to the Hongjiano National Nature Reserve in northwest China's Shanxi province for a stopover of their overwintering migration. About 20,000 to 30,000 birds, including whooper swans, mallards and bean geese, arrived at the nature reserve in recent days as colder weather pushes the birds to migrate. Tourists and local residents in northern Japan are enjoying a hot bath with the fragrant scent of apples. The bath at a hot spring inn was filled with 160 apples to promote locally grown fruit. Chhath Puja, festival worship of the sun god, begins today with religious fervour and gaiety. The 4-day-long Chhath Puja involves fasting, bathing in rivers or ponds and offering prayers to the setting and the rising sun. Devotees in India's northern state of Uttar Pradesh are also observing the auspicious festival of Chhath Puja with its first ritual, a sacred dip in the Ganga river known as Nahai Khai. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi also extended warm wishes to the devotees on the holy occasion of Nahai Khai. The ponds and river banks in Nepal's Terai and Kathmandu Valley are being cleaned and decorated for the Chhath Puja. During the peak tourist season, India's Jaipur has seen an influx of thousands of locals and tourists visiting its famous tourist attractions. A unique Rangoli competition was organized in India's Vadodara, a city known for its vibrant culture, rich heritage and artistic traditions. The Rangoli exhibition showcases the best of this art form, bringing together both traditional and modern interpretations of Rangoli. The Film and Television Institute of India's award-winning Kannada short film Sunflowers Were the First Ones to Know has qualified for the Oscars 2025 in the live-action short film category. Actors Divyanka Tripathi and Javed Jafri will soon be sharing screen space in the show Magic of Shri. The makers announced that the show will be released on November 14th. The trailer of the much-anticipated film I Want to Talk, directed by acclaimed filmmaker Shujit Sirkar, has been released. The Bollywood director Rohit Shetty's latest action-packed film Singham Again has stormed the box office. The film became Shetty's 10th film to cross the coveted 100 crore rupee mark. The taster cut of Varun Dhawan's highly anticipated film Baby John was unveiled on Monday, showcasing the actor in a never-before-seen avatar. The Berlin Film Festival has revealed that it will be severing ties with social media platform X, marking the end of a 15-year relationship with the service. Flowers were laid on Quincy Jones' star on Hollywood's Walk of Fame. Quincy Jones, the man simply known as Q, who reshaped pop music, died at the age of 91. Hollywood star Ryan Reynolds is set to reunite with actor Hugh Jackman in another movie after the duo established new records at the box office with their film Deadpool and Wolverine. After the success of Top Gun Maverick, Hollywood star Tom Cruise is now gearing up for the next action drama, a sequel to Tony Scott's 1990 film Days of Thunder. Celebrities from the world of film, television and music came together for the 13th annual Los Angeles County Museum of Art plus Film Gala. This year's event honored artist Simone Leigh and film director Baz Luhrmann. On to sports news now. Indian Olympic Association officially submitted a letter of intent to future host commission of International Olympic Committee on 1st of October. This formally expresses India's interest to host the Olympics and Paralympics Games in 2036. India women's skipper Harmanpreet Kaur rose to the 9th place in the latest women's ODI player rankings after her power performance in the final game of the home series against New Zealand. India added new test series against England and Australia after the International Cricket Council's announcement of the Women's Cricket Future Tours programme for the 2025 to 2029 cycle. Indian professional boxer Mandeep Jangda clinched World Boxing Federation's super featherweight world title after beating Britain's Conor McIntosh in the Cayman Islands. Chennai Grandmasters kicked off in India. Chess Grandmaster Arjun Ergyasi faced Vidit Gujarati in the opening round in Chennai. Two-time defending champion Novak Djokovic said on Tuesday that he will miss the 8-man ATP finals in Turin due to an ongoing injury. Djokovic currently is ranked 5th in the world. The Australia-trained gelding Knight's Choice has won the 164th running of Australia's premier horse race at the Melbourne Cup at the odds of 80 to 1. Robbie Dolan stormed down Japanese steer Warp Speed to end in a photo finish. World number 1 Arna Sabalenka secured a semi-final spot at the WTA finals by defeating Italian 4th seed Jasmine Paolini 6-3, 7-5. Sabalenka is on the verge of clinching the year-end top ranking. American Taylor Fritz became the 5th player to book his spot in the 8-man ATP finals in Turin. Fritz joined Sinner, Alcaraz, Zverev, Medvedev for the event in northern Italy from November 10th to November 17th. And as Neymar picked up another injury in his second game back after absence, Al Hilal secured a 3-0 win over Iran's Esteghlal in the AFC Champions League. So that's all we have in this edition of Express News. You can connect with us on our different social media handles at DD India Live. Thank you for watching. Namaskar.